No one could have predicted how wild the courtroom would get when Melly finally faced Bortlen. But what happened next left the entire hip-hop world reeling. Just minutes into the session, the judge called for Bortlen to take the stand, and that's when all hell broke loose. As Bortlen started dropping shocking claims, Melly's whole energy changed. He went from calm and collected to absolutely freaking out, jaw clenched, fists tight, and eyes darting across the room. Fans are shocked, the family was left divided, and emotions ran high as Bortlen began laying out story after story, painting Melly as the mastermind behind everything. Even the courtroom staff looked like they'd never seen anything like it before. Whispers rippled through the crowd, reporters scribbling down every explosive detail, while Melly's crew in the back row struggled to keep their composure. Outside, cameras flashed and social media exploded, everyone scrambling for the real tea. Was Bortlen really snitching, or just trying to save himself? Would Melly hold it together, or would he snap under the pressure? The tension was so thick, you could feel it through the walls, and every new revelation made the stakes even higher. By the time Bortlen finished, everyone in the building knew this wasn't just another case. It was the kind of drama that would split friends, families, and fans for years to come. Buckle up, because Melly freaking out on Bortlen snitching in court is just the start of a story you won't believe. The scene in the courthouse was pure chaos, and nobody could look away. It was supposed to be another tense day, but nothing out of the ordinary till the judge called YNW Bortlen up to testify. You could feel the air change, heavy and electric, as Bortlen walked to the stand, barely making eye contact with Melly or his own family in the back. Melly tried to keep his cool at first, staring straight ahead, but you could see the nerves in the way he bounced his leg and clenched his jaw. Every fan watching the live updates online knew this wasn't just about charge. It was about loyalty, betrayal, and a brotherhood tearing apart right in front of everyone's eyes. The questioning started simple. Bortlen answered with short, careful sentences, but it didn't take long for the pressure to get to him. Soon, the prosecution started, asking the real questions, the ones about what happened that night, the ones everyone had been speculating about for months. Bortlen paused, swallowed hard, and then dropped a bombshell. I was there. I saw everything. And YNW Melly. He was the one calling the shots. The whole room went silent for a second before it exploded. People gasped. Some shouted no way. Melly's mom broke down in tears, and a group of friends tried to rush the front, yelling that Bortlen was lying. The bailiffs had to step in to keep order, their voices rising over the crowd outside the courthouse. The news hit like a tidal wave. Every major blog, rap news page, and gossip site pushed out headlines about the snitching scene live-in court. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high, and the family was left divided. Some people rushed to Melly's defense, saying Bortlen was only looking out for himself, that he'd flipped to save his own skin. Others claimed this was the final proof that Melly had really been at the center of everything. Group chats across the country blew up, with people picking sides, fighting about what was real and what was just courtroom drama. Inside, things were falling apart. Melly's lawyer tried to object, arguing that Bortlen was just saying what the prosecution wanted to hear, but the judge shut him down. Melly locked eyes with Bortlen, his stare so cold it could freeze fire. He mouthed something, and Bortlen flinched, looking down at his hands. The prosecutor pressed on, digging deeper. Were you scared of YNW Melly? Bortlen nodded. Yeah, he was like family. But when it came down to it, I didn't know what he was capable of anymore. Words hung in the air, and you could almost see Melly's heart break in real time. The court took a break, but nobody relaxed. Melly stormed out into the hallway, barely holding it together. He shoved past the cameras, refusing to answer questions, his crew trailing behind, looking defeated. Inside the restroom, one of his oldest friends tried to talk him down. "Don't let them get to you, bro. You know who's real?" But Melly's face was tight with anger and hurt. "Nah, man. I trusted him. I brought him in like a brother. And now this." He punched the wall, nearly drawing blood. Meanwhile, Bortlen sat alone at the witness table, head in his hands. His own family watched from the gallery, torn between wanting to protect him and knowing what he'd just done could never be undone. During the break, a producer from a true crime podcast cornered Bortlen's cousin for an interview, asking, was he pressured to flip? Or did he always have this in him? The cousin just shook his head. You think you know somebody, then they switch up on you. That's real life. When court resumed, things got even uglier. The defense grilled Bortlen, trying to poke holes in his story. "So you're saying you just remembered all this now?" After all this time, Bortlen's voice was shaky, but he didn't back down. Sometimes the truth just takes a minute to come out. Melly glared at him the whole time, his fists clenched, so tight his knuckles were white. The rest of the day played out like a movie-high drama, whispers and side-eyes everywhere you looked. Fans outside the courthouse held up signs for both rappers, shouting their support and filming every moment for social media. Every few minutes, someone would yell out, "Free Melly," or "Bortlen's a snitch," and the crowd would erupt all over again. The family was left divided in every sense, with some people crying, others just staring off into space. Unable to process what was happening as the sun set, everyone knew things would never be the same. The trust, the loyalty, the brotherhood knot had all been shattered in one afternoon, with the world watching every second. The night wasn't even over, but the drama was already reaching new heights, with fans, friends, and even total strangers picking sides, waiting to see who would survive the fallout. And as Melly left the courthouse, head down and heart heavy, everyone could feel that this was only part one of a story that was about to get even wilder. The drama didn't die down when court adjourned for the day. If anything, it only got wilder. Outside, the courthouse steps looked like a battleground. Melly supporters on one side, Bortlen's family and friends on the other. Both groups trading heated words while reporters tried to catch every moment on camera. Fans are shocked as a fight nearly breaks out. Police have to step in, urging everyone to calm down and go home. But nobody really wants to leave. This wasn't just another court case anymore. This was personal, the kind of betrayal you can't just turn away from. Inside a nearby hotel room, Melly's inner circle tried to regroup. Phones rang non-stop with calls from lawyers, managers, and worried family. His mom was distraught, tears streaming down her face as she replayed Bortlen's testimony in her mind. How could he do this to us? She kept asking, but no one had an answer. Melly himself sat on the edge of the bed, still wearing the same clothes from court, staring out the window with a look that said he hadn't slept in days. His closest friend, Mike, tried to reach him. "Bro, you gotta stay strong. Everyone out there believes in you. You can't let this mess break you." Melly just shook his head, voice low and rough. "It's not about me anymore. It's about who you can really trust." Meanwhile, Bortlen's world was spinning too. After being hustled out of court under tight security, he was kept in protective custody, away from anyone who might want payback. Bortlen's sister, Liv, sat at home, her phone blowing up with hate messages and threats. She posted a video, her eyes red and puffy. "Y'all don't know what my brother's going through. This isn't easy. Everybody's judging, but nobody knows the whole story." Fans are shocked at how quickly the internet turns on one of their own as news outlets pushed out clip after clip. The story kept growing, twisting, and picking up speed. Bloggers dissected every word from Bortlen's testimony, some claiming he was coerced, others arguing he was finally telling the truth. Instagram pages posted side-by-side photos of Melly and Bortlen from back in the day, throwback images of the two as brothers, now turned enemies in the eyes of the world. Emotions ran high as old friends unfollowed each other. Artists who used to collaborate suddenly dropping statements about loyalty and realness. The family was left, divided in ways nobody expected. Back in the hotel room, Melly's crew huddled together, talking strategy in hushed voices. "We gotta get out in front of this," Mike said, scrolling through the endless notifications on his phone. "Drop a statement, maybe even go live. Show people you're still you, that you didn't do what they're saying." Melly looked up, pain etched into every line of his face. "I can't, man. Anything I say right now, it's just gonna get twisted. People already made up their minds." He picked up his phone and started typing, then stopped, deleting his message before he even finished it. All the while, the world outside kept spinning. Radio hosts argued about the meaning of snitching and whether Bortlen broke some unwritten code. Fans are shocked as rumors swirl about other witnesses ready to testify, other secrets waiting to drop. Late-night talk shows cracked jokes, but even the laughter sounded nervous. A sense of unease settled over everyone involved, like a storm waiting to break. That night, Melly lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Every memory with Bortlen replayed in his mind, good times and bad. The moments when loyalty was everything and betrayal was unthinkable. He wondered how it came to this and what tomorrow would bring. In another part of the city, Bortlen scrolled through messages from friends who once had his back, now calling him snake and traitor. He closed his eyes, wiped away tears, and tried to sleep, knowing nothing would ever be the same again. The next morning, the headlines were everywhere. YNW Bortlen snitches. YNW Melly freaks out in court. Brothers at war. Hip-hop family torn apart. The family was left divided, fans picking sides, and the world waiting to see whose truth would come out on top. But everyone knew the real drama had only just begun. And the next day in court would be even more explosive. The sun barely had a chance to rise before the world was already buzzing about what might go down next in court. Outside the courthouse, a line of reporters and fans formed before dawn, everyone desperate for a front-row seat to the drama. Whispers of new evidence, more witnesses, and even wilder revelations floated through the crowd. Emotions ran high as both camps arrived. Melly's people moving in silence, faces set and cold, while Bortlen supporters looked anxious, glancing over their shoulders as if expecting trouble at every turn. Inside, the energy was even more tense. Melly entered the courtroom with his head down, his mother close by, her face a mask of worry and anger. He avoided looking at Bortlen, but you could feel the weight of his stare from across the aisle. Bortlen arrived under heavy security, eyes red from another sleepless night, hands shaking just enough for the cameras to catch it. Fans are shocked as social media explodes with fresh pictures and live tweets. "He looks like he's about to break," one post reads. Melly's not even trying to hide his rage. The judge called for silence and the day's proceedings began. This time, Bortlen's lawyer tried to soften the blow, framing Bortlen's testimony as an act of self-preservation, not malice. "Sometimes," he said, "people are put in impossible situations. It's not about betrayal, it's about survival." But the crowd wasn't buying it, and you could see the skepticism on the jury's faces. Melly, jaw set tight, kept his focus on the table in front of him, gripping the edge so hard his knuckles turned white. He whispered to his lawyer, "We can still beat this. It's not over." Then came the bombshell. New text messages between Bortlen and another friend surfaced, suggesting that he had been pressured to testify. The defense seized on it, reading the texts aloud. "They're saying if I don't talk, I'm going down." With him, the courtroom buzzed, reporters scribbling as fans are shocked again. Everyone questioning whether Bortlen's testimony was really the truth or just a desperate move to save himself. Emotions ran high, and the family was left divided even further. In the hallways, arguments broke out between friends who used to be tight, now accusing each other of being fake or switching sides. A young cousin of Melly's tried to confront Bortlen during recess, yelling, "You were supposed to be his brother." Security rushed in before it could get ugly, but the damage was done. Videos of the confrontation hit social media within minutes, going viral and stoking the flames even more. While the court was in session, Melly's manager tried to calm his client, whispering, "Whatever happens, you've got people who still believe in you. Just don't lose yourself to this anger." But Melly's mind was elsewhere, trapped in memories of loyalty and the sting of betrayal. Meanwhile, Bortlen sat by himself, staring into the distance, seemingly lost. His family texted him support, but even that felt empty now. Their words, unable to drown out the noise. As the day wore on, the courtroom became a pressure cooker. Every question, every look, every whispered word seemed charged with the pain of a friendship destroyed. Outside, fans argued in the street, waving signs and chanting, each side convinced they knew the real truth. The family was left divided, friendships shattered, and the world glued to every update. By the time the judge called it a day, the drama had reached a new level, with everyone bracing for the next twist as night fell. Melly sat in his cell, replaying every moment, wondering if there was anything he could have done differently. Bortlen, alone in protective custody, stared at the wall, haunted by the choices he'd made. Nobody was sleeping easy, and nobody knew how this story would end. All they knew was that the real battle, the one for their freedom, their families, and their place in the rap world was only just getting started. The final day in court felt less like a legal battle and more like the climax of a Greek tragedy. With the whole world waiting to see who would fall and who might walk away unscathed. The crowd outside the courthouse had doubled overnight, and police were everywhere, trying to keep the chaos from boiling over. Social media was flooded with live streams, everyone glued to their phones for the next twist. Fans are shocked as rumors swirled that someone from Melly's old crew might take the stand and flip the whole story yet again. Inside, the atmosphere was electric with tension. Melly's lawyer arrived with a new plan to surprise witness and fresh evidence to challenge Bortlen's testimony. The courtroom leaned in as a childhood friend of both rappers was called. He hesitated, looked between Melly and Bortlen, then admitted things got real that night. Everyone was scared. But I can't say Melly called all the shots. The gallery erupted in whispers. This wasn't the confession anyone expected, but it was enough to cast more doubt on Bortlen's story. Emotions ran high, and the family was left divided as some breathed a sigh of relief while others grew more suspicious than ever. Bortlen, clearly shaken, tried to defend his side during cross-examination, but his words sounded less certain now. Every question from Melly's lawyer cut deeper. "Were you really scared, or just saving yourself?" Bortlen stammered, "I was scared, but I didn't want to go down for something I didn't do." Tears welled in his eyes, the weight of his choices finally crashing down. The courtroom felt every ounce of that pain, some people turning away. Unable to watch two men who once called each other brothers break down like this. Then, as if the day hadn't been wild enough, the judge called a recess. Outside in the hallway, tensions exploded. Fans and families clashed in a shouting match, old friends arguing about what loyalty really meant. A few had to be separated by security, while others just broke down in tears. The whole rap world was watching. This wasn't just about one trial. It was about what happens when fame, pressure, and betrayal collide. When court resumed, both sides gave their closing arguments. Melly's lawyer begged the jury to look at the facts, not just the spectacle, while Bortlen's team argued that sometimes telling the truth comes at a heavy price. The jury looked exhausted, worn down by the parade of pain, anger, and secrets. When the judge finally released them to deliberate, everyone sat in silence, hearts pounding, waiting for the verdict that would decide not just the future of two men, but the fate of an entire movement. As hours ticked by, the drama played out on every screen in America. Fans posted support videos, others vented their anger or disappointment, and the debate about snitching versus survival dominated every forum and group chat. By nightfall, the jury's decision still hadn't come, but the world already knew no matter the outcome, things would never go back to the way they were. When the courthouse finally emptied, Melly and Bortlen were led away in different directions, each surrounded by people who still believed in them. Outside, the air was heavy with heartbreak and hope, the family forever divided by the choices made on that stand. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the city was left to pick up the pieces. One thing was clear: this story would be told for years to come, not just as a case, but as a warning of how quickly loyalty can turn to betrayal, and how the spotlight can burn even the closest bonds to ashes. If you watch this story unfold, you know this was more than a courtroom battle. It was a test of loyalty, brotherhood, and what happens when the truth finally comes out under the harshest lights. Do you think YNW Bortlen was just trying to save himself, or did he do the right thing by telling his side? Is Melly really the villain, or just another artist caught in a system built to tear people down? Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided as the whole rap world watched every move, every tear, and every betrayal. Now it's your turn. Drop your opinions, wildest theories, and whose side you're on in the comments below. Smash that like button if you were glued to every twist, and don't forget to subscribe for even more explosive rap news and courtroom drama. Ring the bell, because you never know what will happen next in this wild world. Trust me, you won't. Want to miss the next story? Thanks for watching, and let the debate begin.